Welcome to Nature's Neighbor on AM 1230 KPRL. Nature's Neighbor. We're live and local and all about living sustainably right here on the Central Coast.
Good afternoon, Central Coast. Good afternoon to everyone out there. I am your host, Melanie Blankenship, sitting in the studio with our boy Chad Stevens, ready to take your phone call to have me answer any questions that pertain to food, family, farming, and home, being right here on the Central Coast of beautiful California. And must I say, I was talking to a customer a couple of days ago about this show and how excited she was that I was on the air and talking about how beautiful this community is and the possibilities of this community. And she says that she gets going through her day, and then at 12:30 we get to come on the air and talk about how beautiful and how exciting things are outside. And she said that, thank you for always reminding me to look outside and take a deep breath and go, this is why I'm working as hard as I am, and this is why I can handle the pressure and stress, because at least I get to live in a really cool community that is beautiful outside. The possibilities are endless when it comes to eating really good food and hanging out with some really cool people. And I had to say, I do agree with you. And so I just wanted to put all of that out there, because I myself am going through some funny things right now, and it seems like a lot of people that I'm having conversation with are having a lot of challenge and a lot of obstacles that they're wanting to know how they're going to get through, and processing and coping. And, you know, guys, we could all be, you know, somewhere else going through the same exact things, but my goodness, look at the last couple of days. A little bit cool, but foggy mornings, beautiful days. And the possibility of getting out and getting dirt therapy, which means getting your hands dirty in the garden, is so incredibly rewarding. And we are truly very lucky for all of us who live here. And so with that note, let's talk about all the possibilities of this incredibly beautiful community. You know, I threw out a little bit about people and understanding what is in season and what our weather has to do with the foods that we're eating last Monday. And I want to continue that conversation, because this is a conversation that is stimulated from a USDA inspection that I had in my store. And the inspector had come in to go through his document that we had to fill out and do his inspection of my store. And one of the questions is you know, the varieties of fruits that I have stock in the store. And his question to me and filling out the paperwork was, where were the pears? Where were the apples? And my response is, huh? What are you talking about? You work for USDA, don't you know? And his comment to me was, come on, honey, you got to bear with me a little bit here. You know, I'm not familiar with these kind of stores. I'm a seasonal grocery store. I'm categorized as a grocery store with you guys. What do you mean by these kind of stores? And he goes, oh, well, let's get through this document. And I respect him, because I understand, you know what, where is he going to walk into a place that's categorized as a grocery store and not see pears or apples, or not see watermelons and cantaloupes, or not see, you know, tomatoes all year long? And, you know, yes, you walk into my store and they're not there. But why? Well, if you look outside and you live within your community, you'll realize that the apple trees are barely starting to sprout green and have beautiful blossoms on them right now. But guess what? There's no fruit. But yes, we have infrastructure in this community as well as in the state where we're able to harvest apples, which usually start about July. The first pick of Anna apples, which is an heirloom variety apple that is grown in San Miguel, and this also I have some coming in from Cuyama Valley that will start about the middle of July, which it is a crunchy, old-fashioned sweet apple, but not sweet like a Fuji, but sweet like an old-fashioned apple. And they start in July. They're a really early apple, and they've bloomed about 3 weeks ago, and we are so lucky. We're going to have an awesome harvest because we didn't get the frost or the wind or the rain during that time, although I would wanted the rain, but we didn't get it. So look, at Mother Nature has other ways of rewarding us. By the harvest of apples will be a little bit stronger, more likely if nature stays the way that it's been. And we'll have early apples. But then most of your common apples, like Fuji's and Granny Smith's and all your pink ladies, those guys are going to start harvesting later into October. Granny Smith, October, November even. And a lot of the times they will get cleaned, meaning they'll take and rub the white film off the apple, because that white film helps break down the apple. And they will cold storage them, where we can have apples in a natural, no gas situation, cold storage. We can store apples, up to 3 to 4 to even 5 months long. So, yes, we could have apples all the way up until March, April, even sometimes into May. But those were harvested, several months before, but they were stored. So, where am I going with this? Right now I have no apples, no pears in the store because, last year we had not such a good harvest in California of organic apples, and we went through our cold storage stock really quickly. We've been out in all of the 14 years that I've been retail in Templeton. This is the fastest we've ever run out of apples. And it was because we had a bad harvest, but also too, apples are one of your most common fruits. People want apples. Every day that anybody walks in, everybody asks for the apples. And I'm continuously talking about this as we ran out of storage. But cross your fingers, look towards July, and we will have some more, because nature has its way of rewarding us even more with an early season fruit. And that's also, too, we don't plant all the same varieties or do all the monoculturing of crops, because we want to have that variety. We want to be able to, give us a choice of all the different flavors and all the different characteristics. So with that, I want to talk to people about this. How many people really feel confident knowing when things are planted, when things are harvesting, when things are in season? Let's talk about this. Give us a call, 238-5775-238-KPRL. And we have a phone caller.
Good afternoon. You're on Nature's Neighbor.
Hi, Melanie. I have a question.
What's up?
What does earthworm castings and worm tea do to your garden? What is the benefit?
Well, there's many benefits. So what is an earthworm? An earthworm is a composter. You get all your raw material or your material that needs to be decomposed, and earthworms help the decomposition system. So when an earthworm's manure is present, once the earthworm has helped all the material decompose and it's pooping out what it's consumed, that manure is a instant soil nutrients or a compost material that you can add to your garden that has no slowdown effects or any side effects. It's going to be an instant boost or an instant gratification to your garden by using earthworm castings. Earthworms in a compost pile are like the jewels of all jewels. I mean, I always say that earthworms are like your get out of free jail card, because they will make sure that everything gets decomposed correctly and efficiently through your compost. And then their byproduct, their manure, is just black gold. And so, applying the earthworm castings to your garden, it's just a win-win situation. It helps balance out the nutrients. It gives your plants what they need when they need it. And it's an incredible material. Now, an earthworm casting tea. So understand that plants only eat when water is present. So, in order for a plant to eat, did we lose her? I'll continue this. When plants eat, they take all the water and the nutrients up through the rhizome, which is the center of the plant, and they're taking it in and distributing the nutrients in the water where needed. And so, by doing a tea form or water-soluble fertilizers are notorious for this, or every time you water, that is when your plant is going to eat. So say you have a nitrogen deficient plant that needs some greening up, and it's kind of stunted a little bit, and it just doesn't seem like it's getting a push. By adding a tea or adding a earthworm casting tea, you're able to get a quicker boost in the nutrient level in your plant by adding it to a tea. Does that, I'm hoping that my listeners are understanding what I'm saying, because like I said, your plant only eats when water is present. So making a tea, it's going to take up that nutrients quicker and give it to your plant a little bit more efficiently and quicker. So earthworms are an amazing resource in our soil. They're like I said, they're like my get out of jail free card, because they break things down that don't need to be there. I have never once added or moved earthworms, and I can guarantee that every time I go to dig up or turn my compost pile, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of red wigglers in there, or earthworms in my compost pile, and I've never planted them. But I have a good source of manure, because I have chickens, cows, turkeys, goats, pigs. I have all of that. So we, clean out our pens or clean out our open pastures and use the manure in a balanced system into our compost pile with grass clippings and dead plants, and then all my kitchen scraps and straw. And I make a lasagna, was what I always kind of try to teach this material on how to make compost. And I layer in an equal amounts of material to allow it to cook or to compost. And every time I make a compost pile, and once I go to turn, which is about 6 weeks, I'll turn my compost pile. There's hundreds of earthworms in there helping my compost decompose. Now, to get even a little bit more of an technical or more of efficient answer, there's Slow County Worm Farm. Christy, who is a local business, I tell you, that lady is awesome. She is farming worms like you would not believe, and she sells worm casting compost. And so all you guys that are all local that are looking for something like that, slowcountywormfarm.com, I think is what her website. I have her card inside the store. I don't sell her products because she doesn't have enough to retail it, so I want to support her, so contact her directly, guys, and let her know that you heard her name on our show, so she can come on and be a guest, and we can talk more worms in more detail about worms. So also too, worms and compost is seasonal too. People don't realize that, certain seasons you can make a compost cook more efficiently, more quickly, because of the heat, because of the moisture content. My fall prepared compost pile that I do about the end of October cooks more efficiently and is a lot more efficient in the nutrient balance that I'm getting ready to screen filter, and use in my garden this year, because it had enough moisture, and also now that the soil is naturally rising in temperature as well as the atmosphere temperature is rising, my compost is actually more usable, in the sense I don't have to filter it or strain it as much as I have to with my summer compost. My summer compost piles tend to dry out a little bit more and get a little unbalanced, because I need to keep watering my compost pile because of how dry we are. So we can continue this conversation. I could talk compost forever, but we are almost here at our first half of our show. When I come back from our little break, I'm going to share some upcoming events with you, and also talk about eggs, since Easter is coming this weekend, and we have goose eggs coming out of our ears. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these short messages, and we will talk eggs when we return. Welcome back to the second half of Nature's Neighbor. I am your host again, Melanie Blankenship, sitting in the studio with our boy Chad Stevens, ready to take your phone call to answer any questions that pertain to food, family, farming, and home. Give us a call, 238-5775, 238-KPRL. So let me have you get your calendars out and or take a little note, because I want to put out that we have scheduled a Raising Happy Healthy Chickens Naturally class that I am doing with a new business, but she's a local girl that has taken on a business in helping coordinate people to go around and travel throughout the community to learn about the natural resources and the businesses that are helping you live and eat better within the community. So she's going around and teaching all these different little farm activities and helping us coordinate these classes. And her name is Lynette Sani. Awesome lady. Thank you, Lynette, for coordinating this class. The class is Saturday, May 3rd. It's going to be at 10 o'clock. It's going to be held at my store at Nature's Touch Nursery and Harvest in beautiful downtown Templeton. We are going to talk everything from the egg to the table. So, the chicken egg, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about raising babies to raise them for eggs or for meat production, and constantly emphasizing on nothing should ever be wasted. And also, by the way, chickens are a very good source of aerating and rotating your compost pile, because my chickens are helping me do that right now. And but we're also going to do a little bit of other poultry too. We're going to talk about guineas and geese and turkeys, and because we're all going to share about our foliage friends, all our feathered friends, and understanding what it takes to raise these in a clean and efficient, natural way. And to get signed up for this class and to purchase tickets, you have to go to the website Farmstead Ed, and I'm going to spell it for you guys, FARMSTEADED.com, or you could even call Annette and get signed up with her, area code 805-226-2081. We're also going to feed you lunch, and there's going to be a couple other businesses that are going to join there with me, and that do chicken coops, that we're working on a feed supplier to come in and talk about what is in our feeds that we're feeding our animals, and to be able to find efficient, clean, healthy foods to not only feed ourselves, but to feed our animals. And so, again, May 3rd, Saturday, 10 o'clock, Nature's Touch. Go to farmsteaded.com to get signed up for this class. I got an email this morning. It's filling up pretty quickly. So if you guys are anywhere interested, give Lynette a call, 226-2081. With that, talking about the chicken or the egg, or the goose or the egg, we have geese eggs inside of our store for sale that my children think it's fun to hide goose eggs for the Easter Bunny, because it's really hard to hide a goose egg, so they make it a little bit more challenging for the Easter Bunny. Goose eggs are equivalent to 3 chicken eggs, so they say we can't feed the hungry, give them a goose egg and we can feed lots. And so we have a ton of goose eggs, so we're doing specials on goose eggs right now, and I have to tell you, they're a lot of fun to dye, and also too, keep in mind that we just did a really fun project. Is I blew out the yolk of a goose egg. What I did is I got a thumbtack and made some holes at the very tip top of the egg, and I drained the egg yolk and the egg, and I used the goose eggs as seed pots. I filled the pots with soil from the hole that I had done to get the yolk and the egg out, and then I filled it with soil, and I planted some seeds and little flower seeds, and I have to tell you how stinking cute they turned out. I was just doing it because of how many eggs we had, and I never wasted anything. We used all of the eggs and everything in other baking that I was doing at home, and then my children colored the egg and we planted in them. So what I'm saying this for is because it just saddens me how many people go out and buy eggs this time of the year to just dye them and then to just throw them away. Guys, keep in mind that it's food, and let's figure out other ways to be more efficient, and know that you can put, eggs into compost piles too. So let's break it down, let's turn it into something. Let's not think about just doing that and then throwing it away and wasting it. But also too, before you dye it, you got to understand, before you put it in the compost pile, don't go out and buy your over-the-counter egg dye and then put your eggs, those kind of eggs, in the compost pile, because it will play havoc on your compost pile. So just know what you're doing, know what you're getting, and know that I'm there to downtown Templeton to help you with understanding what you need to do to break things down and turn it into really good compost. But come into the store. We have a ton, like I said before we went to the break. We literally have geese eggs coming out of our ears. I have 11 laying geese right now, so I'm getting 11 eggs a day. And so the geese are also seasonal, and when they lay, chicken is also seasonal when they lay. Geese only lay about approximately 6 weeks out of the year. Ducks do about 4 to 5 months out of the year. Chickens are about 9 months out of the year and will naturally do a 3-month no lay, which a lot of people know that is molting or a resting point. So even geese and duck and chicken eggs are also seasonal. So just know that even, and the grocery stores are something different because they're raising them differently. But if you're raising chickens in an open pasture and in a natural way, you will notice that when everybody wants to start baking, which is usually around November, when everybody's thinking about Thanksgiving, it's when the chickens decide they're going to start resting and they're not going to lay. And that's kind of the cold time of the year is when they decide to not lay. So those are even seasonal too. So we're all coming to the very end of the show, and I'm really excited for this time of the year because it's everybody's getting on spring break, and it's all about sharing time with close friends and family and getting out into the garden. So keep that in mind that Nature's Touch Nursery and Harvest is getting fully stocked with everything from tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, melons. Melons are coming in, I think, Thursday. We decided we're going to load them up in the truck and bring them. We grow over 37 different varieties of muskmelon. So what is a muskmelon? Like a honeydew, cantaloupes. But we do all the heirloom varieties, guys. So things like chantres or the French muskmelon, which smells like pure honey when you cut into it. It's the best melon on the face of the planet, I think. But just know that. Come and visit us, guys. We have so many things to share. We're there to help you do it yourself and in a clean, efficient, recycled system. So come and visit us, and happy Easter to everyone, and happy Easter break, and enjoy this beautiful week. And as to I have to go make a really tough decision right now. Love your animals a little bit closer, guys, and know that they're here to live in a quality, efficient life as well. Have a very good week, everyone.